The laughter came first. Sharp, careless, echoing across the polished marble lobby like something breaking that could never be fixed again. It wasn't loud laughter, not the kind that fills a room, but the quiet kind that hurts more, the sideways glances, the curled lips, the unspoken agreement that one man standing there did not belong. Grease-stained hands clasped tightly in front of him, worn boots against a floor that had never known dust, the poor mechanic stood frozen as the world decided who he was without ever asking his name. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing when no one is watching, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The mechanic had not planned to be there. Life had pushed him, the way it pushes people who don't have money to cushion the fall. His name was Daniel, and for most of his 34 years, he had learned to survive by keeping his head down and his expectations low. He fixed engines in a small garage on the edge of the city, a place where the smell of oil mixed with old coffee and forgotten dreams. His father had taught him the trade before illness took him too early, and since then Daniel had carried both the skill and the weight of responsibility alone. He fixed cars not because it made him rich, but because it kept the lights on and gave his younger sister a chance at school. That morning, everything had gone wrong. A luxury sedan had broken down near the garage, its owner panicked and late for something important. Daniel had worked fast, fingers moving with the confidence of someone who listens to machines the way others listen to people. He fixed the problem, refused extra money, and waved the car away without knowing it belonged to the CEO of one of the largest corporations in the city. What he did know was that a few minutes later, a security team arrived, confused, demanding answers, insisting he come with them to the corporate headquarters to explain what he had done to the car. Daniel went because refusing felt dangerous and because honesty had always been his only shield. Now he stood in that building of glass and steel, surrounded by people whose shoes cost more than his monthly rent. They saw his clothes first, then his hands, then his silence. Assumptions bloomed quickly. To them, he was either a scammer, a thief, or a nobody who had wandered too far from his place. The whispers grew heavier as he waited, each second stretching longer than the last. He wondered if this was how his father had felt the day the hospital bills came, standing small in a place that measured worth in numbers. The challenges in Daniel's life had never been dramatic in the way movies liked to show. They were quiet, constant, exhausting. Rent that rose faster than wages. Customers who argued over fair prices. Nights spent choosing between sleep and worry. He carried guilt for dreams he had buried, like the engineering classes he once wanted to take but couldn't afford. Yet through it all, he had never let bitterness take root. He believed, stubbornly, that doing honest work still mattered, even if no one applauded it. As the CEO finally approached, surrounded by assistants and authority, the air seemed to tighten. The laughter softened but did not disappear. Daniel expected anger, maybe even blame. Instead, something unexpected happened. From behind the CEO stepped a young woman, calm and observant, her presence quiet but undeniable. She was the CEO's daughter, someone who had grown up inside privilege yet watched the world with thoughtful eyes. She had heard the story already, about the mechanic who fixed a problem quickly and refused to take advantage. What she saw did not match the smirks around her. She noticed the way Daniel stood straight despite the weight of judgment, the way his hands trembled not with fear but with restraint. She had spent years studying people, volunteering quietly in places no one photographed, learning that character rarely wore expensive suits. The room waited for her reaction, expecting dismissal or polite indifference. Instead, the energy shifted. Without raising her voice, without anger, she spoke words that cut through the room like light through fog. She said she liked him. She said she admired someone who helped without expecting reward. She said that if more people worked with that kind of integrity, the world would look very different. The laughter died instantly, replaced by something uncomfortable and revealing, shame. That moment did not magically solve Daniel's problems, but it changed the direction of his story. The CEO listened, really listened, for the first time. Questions replaced accusations. Daniel explained the repair with clarity and humility, speaking not to impress but to be understood. The executives who had laughed now watched him with new eyes, seeing skill where they had assumed ignorance. In the days that followed, life began to shift in small but meaningful ways. Daniel was offered a short-term contract to consult on mechanical issues for the company's fleet, not as charity but as recognition of expertise. The garage owner, hearing what had happened, treated him with a new respect. Customers came, curious, inspired by the story of the mechanic who had stood tall in a place built to make people feel small. But the most important change was internal. Daniel began to believe that his worth had never been tied to how others saw him. He enrolled in night classes, stretching himself thin but fueled by something new, possibility. The CEO's daughter checked in from time to time, not as a savior, but as a reminder that one voice of fairness can outweigh a room full of laughter. Suspense lingered not in whether Daniel would become rich or famous, but in whether he would allow hope to stay. Old fears tried to return. Bills still came. Some days were still hard. Yet every challenge now carried a quiet strength, built from the knowledge that dignity could not be taken away by mocking smiles. Months later, Daniel found himself back in that same building, not as an accused outsider, but as a respected professional. He remembered the echo of laughter and felt no bitterness, only gratitude for the moment that revealed who people truly were. He understood that kindness does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes as a simple statement, spoken by someone brave enough to see clearly. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Your engagement helps these messages of humanity reach more people. And before this story ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below with your thoughts, your experiences, or simply the word kindness if you believe that respect should never depend on status. Daniel never forgot the day everyone laughed. Not because it hurt, but because it taught him something profound. It taught him that the world will always judge quickly, but it only takes one person to pause, to look deeper, and to change everything. Long after the laughter faded, what remained was a life rebuilt not on revenge or pride, but on quiet resilience and the unshakable belief that doing good still matters.